Mwah. Spoiler alert. I kind of like space. So I have spent probably like 300 or 400 hours now learning Lunar Magic. That's the program that people use to make levels in Super Mario World. And my goodness, is it, I have never had such an appreciation for how easy Mario Maker is to use, because Lunar Magic can do freaking anything, but it takes like 700 times longer to do that exact same thing in Mario Maker. But it can do a lot of stuff that you can't do in Mario Maker 2. So a lot of people have been making really cool Super Mario World ROM hacks lately, and they inspired me because not only can they just take the pieces that were in the regular game and rearrange them into something interesting, but you can also make your own custom stuff. Stuff that you might have dreamed of having or wished, it's like with Mario Maker, it's like, man, we really wish that they would like put in all these new enemies, put in all these new items, put in all these new themes. Well, in Super Mario World with Lunar Magic, you could do all of that. Like anything you can imagine, as long as you have some knowledge of how the game works and how it's programmed, you can do pretty much anything. And the good thing is that there are so many really super tech savvy people out there who have kind of broken all that down. Like, I don't know crap about programming, but just using all of the resources that exist out there, I was able to make pretty much everything that I wanted to make. There's basically an entire community of people on a website called SMW Central, and now even on a Discord channel that we've made, that pretty much live and breathe Super Mario World. They know fucking everything about this game, and it is honestly such an amazing community. Like, I have basically never asked a question and not had somebody who was right there ready to help with it. So before we get started this, I just want to give a huge shout out to the whole Super Mario World ROM hack community. They're freaking amazing, so helpful, and none of this would have been possible without them. But yeah, I have had a massive craving for some good old-fashioned hard as balls Mario. So the first ROM hack that I made is definitely more along the lines of my Salty Sagan tier of levels, which is like not beginner friendly at all. So yeah, this ROM hack is not beginner friendly. It's not even meant to be played blind. It is just meant to show off a lot of the cool crap that you can do with the cape, and my god, can you do some cool stuff with it. It was also an excuse for me to finally learn how to use Lunar Magic, which now I can use to make filthy stinking trolls. Also, yeah, if I'm spoiling this for you, I'm sorry, but as it turns out, my name is not actually Carl.
What you talking about?
Spoiler alert, I know. I named myself after the astronomer Carl Sagan, because when I first watched his Cosmos TV series, an old TV series, I think from the 80s, I watched it when I was in college, and that is what inspired me to be a scientist, actually. So if you couldn't tell already, this ROM hack is space themed, and it has some of my favorite quotes in it from Carl Sagan. Just a lot of really cool space stuff that I've picked up over the years too. Space stuff, pretty cool. Mwah. All right, sorry for blabbing for forever, but hey. Don't hate me for being who I am. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, to say that Carl Sagan changed my life would be an absolute understatement. Like, I was at the time of my life when I had no idea what I wanted to do. I felt like completely lost in the world. And finding the work of Carl Sagan was sort of like, suddenly I just had an intense like curiosity and motivation to learn more about the world, to learn more about space, about where we came from, about like what the hell is life, what the hell is the universe, what are we doing just floating around in this giant ball through space, what the hell is going on? So this ROM hack is dedicated to the real Carl Sagan. The original Cosmos was titled A Personal Voyage. So that is what the reference of this first Yoshi house is. And man, is this Yoshi house poppin'! The first message box here is the opening line from the Cosmos TV series.
The cosmos is all that is, or ever was, or ever will be. Our contemplations of the cosmos stir us.
The next message box is probably the most profound quote that I know of from Carl Sagan, and just one of those ideas that has stuck with me ever since I first heard it. So it's all about the fact that like the iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, all that, in order to make those heavier elements, they have to be fused, like with nuclear fusion in a freaking star. So like literally the iron in our blood was made in a star, scattered through the galaxy in a supernova, and now eventually became us, and now we're sitting here thinking about that fact. And so that's what Carl Sagan means with this quote. The cosmos is also within us. We are made of star stuff. We are literally a way for the cosmos to know itself. Like, we are what happens when matter and energy have billions of years to develop conscious thought, and then just start wondering like, how did I get here? What am I doing? What is going on? Fucking wild, man. Every time I think about it, I just like, it just, my mind like has a miniature explosion. All right, let's do some Mario. So the first level of the hack is actually the second level that I made, but I felt like this level was better at giving people an introduction to the cape mechanics without really changing anything from the regular gameplay that they're probably used to. So for the start of this level, I'm going to be using a throw block, and the throw blocks are actually really interesting because you can only jump off of them really when something hits it back at you. So that Koopa grabs it, and then only after he's thrown it can you spin off of it like this. So you can use to dodge these obstacles. So then we're gonna get this cape. And you see, I put coins in the level to show you when you need to change direction. One of the first ideas that I got was just what would happen if you had the cape and you were just diving through one really long vertical level. Because in this game you can have vertical levels, but you can't in Mario Maker. The cape really has a lot of subtle mechanics that you would probably have to watch this in slow motion to really see all of. But you can do some really interesting things to manipulate how Mario moves when he's diving with the cape. Like how to lose a little bit less height, how to float a little bit more here and there. One of the sections that I think really shows this off is the section coming up right here where you have to like alternate between tapping forward and not to make these subtle micro adjustments to Mario's height to prevent him from hitting the spikes. As you can see, each level also has a pretty tight timer, but the purpose of the timer is really just cheese prevention. I don't expect anybody to die to the timer. It's just to make it so that you have to proceed through the level quickly. So the next level was my attempt to take a lot of the more technical tricks from the speedrun of Super Mario World and do something cool with them. So when Mario hits those blocks, it actually knocks the mushroom out so that Mario can grab it. And then you have to get P-speed and jump and use those left and rights to retain your P-speed. The shell jump frees the feather and you can fly away to victory. So you can actually jump, see, multiple times and continue flying with your cape. So here we're gonna do a first item fly. You can actually grab the Koopa midair and start flying with it. You fly just like normally as if you weren't even holding it. You can use the Koopa shell, of course, to do fun Koopa shell related things. The cape also lets you damage boost, and when you damage boost, you can still spin off of stuff briefly afterward. If you initiate a fly and then go through a door, you can actually keep that fly on the other side. So that's actually how I can fly with this P-switch here. And so again, even though I'm carrying the P-switch, I can actually fly normally. For a short amount of time after taking off, remember you can keep flying over and over and over again, so this allows you to both damage boost and then initiate another fly, do one final flight into the goal. As you see, if you take too long at the end there, the P-switch timer would actually run out and you would fall and die after grabbing the goal. I'm sure no popular streamers will ever accidentally die from that. So this next level adds on and off switches to make blocks appear and disappear. And even though you see that in a lot of hacks, it's actually not in vanilla. This level starts out with some classic Kaizo shell juggling, and we're gonna get some item juggling here too. The slope lets you get a lot of speed, and you can use that speed to catch up to the shell. So now we're gonna do a neat trick where you can actually swoop up into the air and refly. So we throw the P-switch into the on and off switches and then swoop up to grab it. So for this section, you're actually racing a P-switch as well. So you have to get through this section quickly and hit all of the on and off switches in order to get past those P-switch blocks, or else they'll trap you. So for the next part, we're gonna do some rapid fire on and off switch hitting with the shell, and then use that shell to trigger more on and off switches. So then we're gonna hit these music blocks to turn around really quickly to change your dive bomb the other direction. You see there's on and off switches that you have to keep hitting before doing the next dive bomb. And then for this section, you just have to keep flying up as high as possible to keep hitting these on and off switches to get through to the end. By the way, you can see that the ending screen is messed up a little bit in a lot of these. It's such a nightmare to get all of the colors of the background and all this other stuff to work perfectly, and then also get that to work. So yeah, sometimes I have some weird colors, I'm sorry. So by this point, I had started to get a handle for lunar magic, and things started to get a lot crazier. Things definitely picked up a little bit. So this level is all based around Yoshi, and in addition to Yoshi, I use a lot of thwomps that have custom-made blocks that will break when the thwomps hit them. So you have to use the thwomps to break blocks that are in your way. So we jump up and grab our little baby Yoshi, and we have to feed the baby Yoshi 4 more things, gulp gulp, in order for him to grow into big Yoshi. So the last one there, he finally grows into big Yoshi, and now we can use him. So we collect our cape, and you can do some really interesting stuff with Yoshi as far as flying is concerned. So check this out. Yoshi can like fly like he's a cape if you jump off of him and jump back onto him. So this is just like, oh, bye Yoshi, see you later. You can keep using the Yoshis to fly. So the blue wing Koopas allow Yoshi to keep flying too. So see, the Yoshi gets wings now, and then we can use that. But he only can fly while the blue Koopa shell is in his mouth. So I have to keep re-grabbing it in order to keep flying with Yoshi. So at the end here, the thwomp hits Yoshi, and you get off and on Yoshi really fast, and that initiates Yoshi fly. In order for this to work, Yoshi has to keep sticking out of his tongue when you fly backwards with the cape, or else he'll just turn around instead. That's a nifty trick that was discovered by the Super Mario World speedrunners in order to fly consistently while you're riding on Yoshi. So if you look closely right here, you'll see that when Mario jumps off of Yoshi into the ceiling and then immediately remounts Yoshi, then you will start flying like, sort of like when you're carrying an item and you just keep flying. It's like that, except you're on Yoshi's back. The weird part about that though is normally in order to fly, to swoop up with the cape, you have to push back. Well, while you're on Yoshi, if you do that, Yoshi just turns around and it doesn't actually work right. So you have to stick out Yoshi's tongue because that prevents him from looking backwards. So then you can push backwards and fly up with the cape without actually turning Yoshi around. So much of this level is not possible unless you do that. So remember when I said that the last level gets crazier? Well, this one gets even crazier. So I found these really nifty things that are like pipes that allow Mario to quickly go through them, and then it spits you out on the other side. Like it doesn't load a new area like normal pipes do. And then I tweaked that a little bit so that if you enter them while you're flying, you'll still just fly out the other end of them. So Mario is like flying in and out of pipes. This is probably the level that I am the most proud of. So get ready, strap yourselves in. This one's a little bit crazy. So you see Mario jumps into these pipes and then comes out where the other end of the pipe is. So we're also going to carry this Goomba with us and use him to hit the on and off switches, which are going to allow us to get through. So an interesting thing is this Goomba, even though we keep using him, he's going to come back to life in just a second. See right there, boom, he comes back to life and I bounce off of him. So then these platforms allow you to actually run on them in place to get Peace Beeps. So now you'll see what I'm talking about, where you come in and out of the pipes while flying. So we're going to take this Koopa shell, use it to hit the on and off switch, and then swoop down to grab it. We're going to do a dive bomb to clear the mole that's blocking the pipe, and then notice the Koopa will also come back to life. See, when he comes back to life, it hits us, but luckily we're caping, so it doesn't matter. So this is a modified shell that allows us to get infinite bounces, so we can keep bouncing along the shell in order to traverse that area. If you touch any of those blocks, you die. This is my take on a classic Kaizo trick. The invisible blocks create the path for the mole, but you do it with a sticky fly. When we dive bomb, it pops the Koopa shell up in the air. And then this section was inspired by a Romhack named Claustrophobia, where you're just doing a lot of stuff really fast in a tight area. So we're going to turn left and drop the spring to get up into that pipe, and then do some fancy reverse flying to get through here. These exploding platforms will break the area so that Mario can get through right there. And then these pipes spit Mario out super fast, which is really fun to play with these. And Mario's actually moving so fast here, he can just drop the shell and then immediately jump off of it. So for the next section, you're using that exact same shell, and it's slowly traversing through the area as you hit the on and off switches, and you finally use it to bounce you over to the goal. There's just so much potential with these pipes to do really cool stuff. I feel like I barely scratched the surface in this level. I feel like I could probably make like 3 or 4 levels just based around those pipes. They were so much fun to play with. Can you believe it? We are already at the final level. I just want to give a huge shout out to Fedora Friday. Oh, let me move this. There we go. Because he designed this sick background for the overworld. I just absolutely love what he did with it. So cool. We have like a black hole with a fucking black hole monster circling around it. So this next level is based around bombs and being able to use bombs to destroy the terrain. And normally that doesn't happen. So also want to give a huge shout out to Leod. He is the one who made the magic happen to let the bombs actually destroy stuff. And just in general, this hack would not have existed without Leod, because he also helped me make the ability to like instantly start from checkpoints while flying, like when you come out of the pipes flying, that stuff too. So again, huge shout outs to Leod. Anyway, enough talk, let's do it. All right, so we grab the bomb, and we're gonna keep that because that bomb is gonna allow us to break through the wall. So when we jump through here, it destroys that ball and lets us break through the wall. This is also a screen wrap level, so you can see Mario will be going in and out of the top and bottom of the screen. So this brown platform actually lets us get P speed, and we use that to pick up the cape. So see, we're gonna be diving in and out from the top of the screen down to the bottom of the screen while the bombs clear the path for us to get through. So we're gonna use these bombs to break through the floor to get to safety. Now, an interesting thing about them is actually you can destroy the explosion that the bombs make with your cape. So you're gonna see that coming up too. So we're gonna grab this bomb, do a sticky fly, and then break through to get through here. Because let's be honest, it wouldn't be a Carl level if you didn't have shit raining from the sky, blowing everything up. You can also store your cape flight from a vine. So when you jump off the vine, you instantly start flying it. See, I'm spinning the explosions and it's destroying them. Get the old butt slide, the swag butt slide in there. Finish it up with a 360 no-scope bomb. Boom. And that, my friends, is like a 10-minute video from 350 hours of work. Why do we, my God, this is why YouTubers don't make ROM hacks. This is why YouTubers don't make ROM hacks. Check out these credits. These credits are sick. It's just a level, but it's set up so that Mario has like a custom modification to his speed, so he just slowly floats down it. So yeah, this ROM hack would not have been possible without a heck of a lot of help. Especially huge shout outs again to Leod and Fairy Falafel for helping me do a lot of the programming side of stuff, and Fedora Friday for that sick overworld. I also want to give a huge shout out to composer Dan the VP and Mooing Lemur for making a lot of the custom music for this. They all help port stuff from the original Cosmos, all those themes. And the song you heard on the last level was actually a Power Rangers like Nintendo song, and it's somehow freaking amazing. Also, huge shout outs to all the people in the Discord channel for Super Mario World and for Lunar Magic help, who saved my butt like 9,000 times. And just in general, the community for ROM hacks and for just Mario games in general is absolutely fantastic. It's pretty much the only reason that I still keep streaming and playing these games, is because all the people that I've met doing it are just absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best gaming communities that I've ever been a part of, hands down. And of course, my love of flying and of all things space. Gotta give huge shout outs to the real Carl Sagan. Died way too young. If you have never checked out any of the real Carl Sagan stuff, highly, highly recommend. You could search for, or I'll put in the comments below a link to his Pale Blue Dot speech and also the original Cosmos series. It's definitely super outdated, like it's made in the 80s or something, but I think it still holds up today for sure. Like the graphics are, bleh. The graphics are total jank, but besides that, the content is really freaking awesome. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm actually going to be offering a $100 prize to the first streamer to beat this from start to finish on stream in a single sitting. And then I am also going to be offering an additional $100 prize, but I'm not telling anybody what that prize is actually for, so you're gonna have to stay tuned to see. I will say that I definitely have something special planned related to this ROM hack, and I can't reveal what it is right now, but so that will be coming soon. So keep your eyes out for that as well. Other than that, I'm going to post some links in the description in the comments to any streamers that I know of who are playing this. And if you know of any, make sure to send them to me as well, so you can go watch people try to beat this. So now that I actually know how to make ROM hacks, I would definitely like to make more. The only problem, as you've probably been able to tell, is that they're freaking time consuming to make. But I think that now that I have a good handle on everything, I should be able to do it a lot faster. So I would like to make an easier ROM hack. Definitely, if I ever make anything else, it's going to be easier. And I really would like to see more people making troll ROM hacks. So I'm going to definitely be looking into that as well. I do know that my friend Juzzcook is working on making me a troll hack, but he's also pretty busy too. So hopefully I can convince more people to use their knowledge of lunar magic and how to make ROM hacks for evil to make more troll hacks. So honestly, the potential for making a troll ROM hack is basically limitless in this because you have so much more control over what you can do. I've also created a giant walkthrough with pictures and descriptions of all of the tricks used and an actual level by level breakdown. So for anybody interested in actually playing this, I also have a link to the walkthrough of it as well. So yeah, I have been looking for an excuse to make a ROM hack for quite some time now, mainly just as a way to learn how to do it, because that's the biggest problem with this, is it's just really hard to get started because it's overwhelming. Like, the nice thing about Mario Maker is you don't have too many options, and so that kind of helps you not get overwhelmed by having too many options. Whereas with this, it's literally like any image in the world can be your background. Like, any possible graphic you can use for anything. You can tweak, you know, how high Mario jumps, how fast enemies fall, how fast they move. You can do everything. But it's also a danger too, because if you change the game too much, then it might not be the Mario that everybody knows and loves. So it's like a weird balance between adding something fresh and new that might be like an update for Mario Maker, say, without breaking the game completely and making it so different that nobody, you know, that it just loses what it means to even play Mario. But yeah, so I got into Super Mario World a heck of a long time ago. And not just like, you know, when I was a kid, I played it and I loved Super Mario World, but I actually got into speedrunning Super Mario World for quite some time. And like, honestly, I really fell in love with the game, but Super Mario World the speedrun has a few huge problems with it that just didn't really jive with me very well. Like, I loved the cape power-up. I loved what you could do with the cape power-up. It looked awesome, but it was too good. Like, speedrunners would just fly over the levels and they became boring. But there were a few levels from the speedrun where you got like kind of a glimpse of what it could be like if you played with the cape in more restricted environments, where you had to use all of its totally broken tools just to be able to get through, or to get through optimally. And so for the longest time, I've had this idea in the back of my head to make a ROM hack that needs that, because I knew that the potential was there to make something really, really awesome. So that's kind of what inspired me to do this. When I was doing Super Mario World speedrunning, I learned like 10 different amazing tricks that you can do with the cape, and they just never show up. Like, they don't show up in the actual game. There's never a good opportunity to use them, or else you play for an hour and a half and use one of them once. So this ROM hack is sort of like 7 years of knowing that the cape could really be something awesome if someone could make their own custom levels designed around it. So that's definitely what I tried to do with this ROM hack. mwah, mwah, mwah.